Hello everyone. So tonight I'll be reading out a story which is a ghost story, but it's witches and fairies, so it's a mixture. Right, I'm going to start off. The coast between Southend and Staithes is heavily haunted by a variety of interesting apparitions. Southend was once the abode of the Southend Bogey. It was said to live in the cupboard of a local cottage and would go out to sea with the fishermen, its presence guaranteeing them a good catch. It was finally exorcised by the Lyth priest when it took to frightening the local children. Mulgrave Woods, below Lyth, was once said to be haunted by Jenny of Biggerdale, a witch or sprite who disliked visitors to her domain. Traditionally, people were said to call her name, then run away before she could catch them, giving rise to the old rhyme, Biggerdale Jenny, where is thou? Ours no but tying my left foot shoe. Bide and all be with thee now. One particular tale of Jenny, who pursued a local farmer and his horse, finally ripping the animal in two as it leapt over a stream to safety, is said to have inspired Robert Burns' Tam O'Shanter. Although the horse in his story loses only its tail, local children today, however, know nothing about Jenny, and instead fear the Pad, this beast, half human, half goat, haunts a tunnel beneath the old Mulgrave Castle, and acts in much the same as Jenny is said to have done in her prime. Towards Runswick Bay there was once a cave known as Hobhole. Hobhole was said to be the home of a goblin who had the power of curing little children afflicted with whooping cough. If a child was suffering from that disease, one of its parents would carry it to the cave and with a loud voice shout, "Hob, hole, hob, my barn's got kink, cow, take off. And sure enough, within a month the child was cured or dead. A little inland from Runswick itself is Claymore, from which the noises of fairies beating their washing with bittles occasionally emerges. The well is best avoided, for fairies in this part of the world have a somewhat sinister reputation, and generally emerge to abduct people who are passing by. The Staithes area is well stocked with ghosts of folk who had fatal accidents. In 1846, a fisherman known as James Harrison fell 600 feet from the Bolby Cliffs. His ghost was seen so frequently by his relatives, even having conversations with them, that eventually a priest was called to try to exorcise the spirit, but with only partial success. Though his ghost is seen occasionally at Bolby, it would be unwise to attempt to engage him in close conversation, for the part of the cliff on which Harrison's spirit walks fell many years ago, and he floats in mid-air 20 feet or so out above the sea. Another ghost still appears in the village, usually in spring, floating across the little bridge which links Staithes and Cowbar. Her gory end was recorded by George Young, the historian, in 1817. The most singular accident that ever happened on the coast occurred about 15 years ago, under the high cliffs, a little to the west of Staithes, while two little girls of the name Grundy, belonging to Staithes, were sitting on the scar or rocky beach with their backs to the cliff. A splinter, which by striking a ledge had acquired a rotary motion, fell from the cliff and hitting one of the girls on the hinder part of the neck, severed her head from her body in a moment, and the head rolled to a considerable distance along the scar. Right, okay, so the second story, short story. Nanny Ho of Kildale. Once upon a time lived an old witch by the name of Nanny Ho. She had a fat ginger cat called Moggy, and a besom or broomstick, which she used to get around at night. She did no one much harm, except to change the occasional child into a toad or snail, if they annoyed her. Her besom was not only used for moving her about, it also did most of her household chores. She would shout besom, and it would instantly fly to her hand. She would whisper water, and the broom would go to the well and return with a bucket of water or besom floor, and it would sweep the floor. This useful implement left Nanny O free to do what she liked the best, to grow herbs and vegetables in her garden. Now you might think that everyone would be happy to leave an harmless witch like Nanny O alone, but her harmless behaviour was not pleasing to one person, and that person was the devil. The devil, having given powers to Nanny, expected some return for his generosity. He expected to see sheep give birth to three-headed lambs, neighbour turn against neighbour. In short, he expected Nanny to creep around as he did, spreading mischief. The devil decided to visit Nanny Ho and let her know how he felt. He chose a dark and stormy night, as you would expect, and knocked on her door, just as the church clock struck 12. Nanny O was reading a seed catalogue at the time, and was surprised that anyone would call so late, for she rarely had company. Well, Nanny opened the door carefully and let the devil in, and he took a seat. "Besom," shouted Nanny O, "tea and the besom disappeared into the little kitchen and returned a few minutes later with a pot of tea. The devil was not very pleased with the tea, for he felt that a witch should be at least addicted to strong drink, like rum or whiskey. Nanny Ho could see he was not pleased, but mistaking the cause, shouted, "Besom, digestive biscuits." Minutes later, with a pot of tea, the devil was not very pleased with the tea, for he felt that a witch should at least be addicted to strong drinks, like rum or whiskey. Nanny Ho could see he was not pleased, but mistaking the cause, shouted, "Besom, digestive biscuits." I'm sorry about this. Yeah, that's the end of that little one. I don't know what happened there. Of course, I haven't paid for the book here, so I think that's the end of the story. But we did have a few. Well, the first story had a silly ending. This story's got a silly ending, but never mind. I won't take it seriously tonight. I just thought I'd try, But that seems to be the ending of the stories, so it's nothing brilliant, but just the way it is. I'm going to have to get some real good stories. Find some real good stories, But, of course, I can't buy every book, can I, But, never mind. So that's it for tonight. The stories weren't brilliant. And we'll see what tomorrow brings. As I've been through before, if you've listened to me. We'll see what tomorrow brings. And where we can go. Well, I don't know if I can go tomorrow. Maybe Tuesday. I've got an idea where to go. And it's very strange. I never noticed it before, but when I've gone to that haunted St. John's Hospital, I've always gone to the entrance way. Whereas if you go down the main road, you get to the really old part where there's no houses or anything. So I want to investigate that. So that's probably where I will be going first. But I'm not sure at the moment. But I've got to check that out, yeah. I didn't notice it when I passed, When I passed a while ago, but yeah, so we'll check that out. See what we can find. So that's it for tonight. I'm sorry about the stories and the endings. Some real strange words in it as well. Because of course these stories are from Norfolk and Cornwall and all that places like that with these weird old-fashioned sayings and all that sort of thing. So I'll leave it at that for tonight, and yeah, I will let you know when I go out, and we'll see what we can see. So thank you for listening, and take care. Right, good night everyone.